All right, young scholars, I will get started so you can finish your evening up here on a good note. Everybody can see my screen, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so we went through the HTML basics PowerPoint earlier. Now we're going to look at these links I provided you examples of. We will do some basic HTML code. We'll look at it, and then I'll go over tonight's homework. I think it'll be due Monday at 11:59. So basically, you'll have the entire week to do it. So you recall I mentioned last week that the end goal of the course focuses on creating a proposal of what your website's going to be, your website, and then a presentation on your website. So we're going to show you examples here of all of that information. So the first link here, general project help, will open a page on my Seton Hall blog, which will give you example information. So the first four are links: Elementor, InVision, GoDaddy, and Learn, on how they suggest to write a website proposal. You're free to visit them on your own leisure. Then we have some YouTube videos here where experts give examples on how they would put together a website proposal. And then below that is a specific example I provide to you of how I go about them. So you have a small introduction where you present who you are, who the website is for, and then give specific contact information for yourself. So in your instance, you would probably just give your FDU student email. Then you provide a problem. What is the problem? So in this example I provide, the garden nursery, they were local. That's all they were getting sales from. They would have to go to trade shows in order to actually sell their plants. So they were limited in the customers they were able to reach. So the solution was to create a website for them which listed all of the plants, trees, shrubs, everything they sold in order for it to be more available online. Unfortunately, the issue with this company was, in order for them to ship and sell all these plants online, UPS was charging them an arm and a leg. So they decided to ultimately go back to what they were really originally doing, just going to trade shows and selling their plants there in order to have no shipping costs. Then you're going to set up your deliverables. What are you going to deliver on your website? What kind of pages are you going to have? What kind of images are you going to use? Will there be CSS files? Will there be JavaScript files? Will you have a contact form? All these things that you might have on your website should be posted under deliverables. Then for process and cost, you're going to basically describe what your process is, how you're going to make your website. Then you're going to determine what your cost is going to be. How many hours is it going to take you to do this? What cost are you going to charge? So A common rate is kind of $25 an hour. You're free to charge $50 an hour, $100 an hour, whatever you'd like within your proposal. Then you also want to consider possible hosting costs, security costs, any maintenance costs. So you notice here the first paragraph mentions the cost. The last paragraph mentions the maintenance cost that I'm charging. And the middle paragraph here is the process or the steps that I went through in order to create the website. So is there any questions on that? It'll be a little clearer here momentarily when I show you student examples. Okay. So on the second link here, you'll see examples of final project proposals, and that will open to examples former students or young scholars have created for their web design proposal. Do you notice here there's an example? Somebody created an animal shelter website. Another example here, I believe this was about some kind of, I forget what they were called. Oh, there it is, NICU nurses. And they would provide help to upcoming mothers or new mothers on that specific website. Then there was another one, a fundraising project, a website here, music merchandise purchased. Another one here was for Premiere Audio and Visual Development Products. Then the last one was this one there was a sports blog. Another example here is for repair of phones. And you'll notice all of them are completely different. So there's no one specific template you need to follow. So this example, there's an objective, opportunity, project deliverables. I put in a little table. And like I said, when you submit your proposal, you want to have kind of a drawing or some kind of image you create that gives a general idea of what your homepage will look like. When you submit the rough version, it can just be a boring drawing of how it might be. When you submit the final version, it should kind of look more like what you think you're going to do. So that's this one here, the last one, and the first one here are kind of pretty good, professional looking. However, if you so choose, yours can be as simple as just writing these out in paragraphs with no template whatsoever. So you have here to your disposal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 proposal examples from former students, in addition to the 1 example that I've provided. So you have 8 total examples there to play off of. And as you saw last week, there is a rough draft version that's due, worth 50 points. I give you your feedback on that. You fix it up for the final version, worth 150 points. Then the next link we have here is examples of website, which is the project, the website you create. As I mentioned last week, this is an introductory class to the course in the spring. So you're more than welcome to simply create your website on Wix, whatever you would like to use. So for example, some people used Wix. Let's see if this opens. So this is a farming website that a former student created. They're selling pies, apple cider donuts. They also had tours of the farm for this website. You'll notice some individuals used Wix. Others used the specific domains we had available at Seton Hall. Some of them also used a blog. It's entirely up to you as to what you would like to use. I think Wix is kind of the easiest way to go about it, but you can choose each at your leisure. So all of these are different topics based on the proposal. So for example, this one is promoting one of my former students' recipes, and in turn also her social media. There was also the Hall Street Fund, a group at Seton Hall where they try to make money off of selling and buying stocks. And one of their members created a nice little professional website here for them on Wix. And there's probably close to 80 examples there for you guys to look through. Probably fall 2021 and fall 2022 are your best bets, because the fall 2020 pages, they just created websites about themselves. So, like I said, using Wix completely fine with me as long as your website represents what you presented in your proposal. And then the last link here is examples of project PowerPoints for the presentation. So that's what you will present at your, I think, the last class meeting we have this scheduled, where I told you you'd give an overview of any problems you had. You'd basically talk about your proposal, then any issues you had. You'd present your website or talk us through your website. And here are some examples. So Xavier's was about his hat website. He discusses his proposal, his deliverables, his sketch of his website. Then he pulls up the actual website, walks everybody through it. Then he provides the issues that he had. And then he finishes up. So, like I said, it's pretty easy to do this in about 10 minutes. All you're doing is walking through your proposal, describe your website, pull it up, whatever you'd like to do for that, and then describing the issues or challenges you had in creating your website. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples of how your PowerPoint presentation should look in order to incorporate everything from your proposal, discussing your website. Again, like I said, you can either pull it up or discuss it within the slides, and then you would present any issues you have. Okay, so are there any issues or questions on the project? For right now, the only thing that you guys might be worrying about is putting together your rough draft proposal, but I don't think that's due for a while yet. So, Rob, did you have a question?
You know, I was just gonna ask about the due date for the rough draft proposal.
Okay.
You just answered it, so it's fine.
It's on the syllabus, but I don't think it's until October. But I'll double check before we end. Okay, so the first, go ahead.
So I joined like a little bit late 'cause I was trying. I had some problem like joining the Zoom meeting, but I just want to make sure. So like the rough draft proposal is always. So you wanted like a slideshow of like what we want to talk about for our website.
No. So the rough draft of the proposal, I have those first two links, general project help. At the bottom, I have a example of what I've done. And then
Uh-huh.
here, this link, examples of final project proposals. There's 7 examples that students have done in the past. Basically, you're going to write a 2 or 3 page thing with a little introduction. You're going to tell me what the problem is, like why you need to make a website. Then you're going to have a solution section where you explain how the website solves that problem.
Uh-huh.
Then you're going to have a deliverable section where you talk about what's going to be on the website, the pages, the images. Then you're going to have a process and cost section. The process, you're just going to tell me what you're going to do in order to create the website. And then the
Uh-huh.
cost section, you're just going to say, okay, well, this is going to take me 10 hours to do. I'm going to charge $100 an hour. So the cost is going to be $1,000 to whoever I'm making this for. I'm going to charge them X amount of money for maintenance. I'm going to charge them X amount of money for hosting. I'm going to charge them X amount of money to make sure their website is secure. And like I said, these first 2 links here should walk you through that.
So you just want us to write it down. That's what you want us to do. Just to
Yep.
make sure.
So it's going to be like a Word document, 2 or 3 pages long, and then you just are going to add a little rough sketch of what you think your website might look like. And like I said, then I give you feedback on that one. You fix it up, you submit the final version later in the semester.
Can we like for drawing the website, like can we add like a can we draw like handwritten and then just hand it in with the paper itself?
So if you draw it and hand it to me in class, that's fine, but you're going to submit the rough draft on Web Campus.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. All right. Thank you.
No problem. All right, so the homework assignment tonight, your first homework assignment, is the HTML assignment. All you're going to do is submit a Word document where you describe what the following HTML tags do. The HTML tag, the head tag, the body tag, the title tag, the H1 through H6 tag, the B tag, the I tag, the M tag, strong tag, the href tag, the href mail-to tag, the P tag, the BR tag, the UL tag, the OL tag, the LI tag. Literally, that was all in the PowerPoint we went over earlier. So I suggest you just highlight all of this, copy it in a Word file, and then just type next to it your answers, what each of the tag does. Make sense? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to the syllabus to give you the exact dates here for all of that. Okay, I stand corrected. So the rough draft will be due the 2nd of October. So it isn't as far off as I thought. But then I will give you feedback to that. Most likely right in class on the 3rd. And then you would fix it up for the final. I'm going to guess that would be due the 27th, since I gave you off the week of Thanksgiving. Let's check. So the rough draft is due Monday the 2nd at 11:59. And then the final version is due the 27th. So that you basically have 2 weeks with the week off due to Thanksgiving. All right, so before we end tonight, I want to go quickly through some of these tags we looked at tonight. So again, you start every HTML file with the HTML tag. Then you have your body tag. If I wanted to add a title, I would put it within the head tag here. However, since this is an online editor, it's not even going to show anything other than W3 Schools Try It Editor, because this website already has its own title. All right, so I went through the first 6 or all 6 of the headers here. My first heading, my second heading, my third heading, my fourth heading, my fifth heading, my sixth heading, just to show you they're all bold, but they keep getting a little smaller, a little smaller. Once we get into CSS and changing text colors and everything, we'll get more into this. But by default, text is always black. However, you can use style tags to change it. So you notice the first header I changed to color red. The second I changed to the color blue. The third I changed to the color green. The fourth I changed to yellow. The fifth to orange. And left the sixth alone. So by default, it remains black. Then I did the same with the first text or paragraph. Changed it to purple here with the style tag. So if we got rid of that style tag and ran it again, it defaults back to the default of the color black. Then below that, I've used our href 2 different ways. So remember I told you you could put an href within the paragraph tag? We did that here. So anybody who's ever seen the show Friends, all of the episodes start with the one with. That's what all of their episodes are. Well, the episode names start with, rather, the one with. So who can tell me why this link is purple instead of blue? Any guesses?
Because you
Because
open,
they've already clicked on.
Yep. So by default, blue is for an unvisited link. Once you visit it, it becomes purple. Now, as you'll see when we do CSS, you can completely change that. You can make it to where this unvisited blue link becomes green, whatever your decision may be. And we'll touch on that once we get into CSS or cascading style sheets, as it's called. So here you see Bob Dole. We have Bob in EM. Who remembers what EM is similar to? You can tell kind of by just looking at the way Bob comes up. Nobody knows? No guesses? Dylan?
It's because the EM tag italicizes it.
Yep. So EM is emphasis. It just italicizes whatever text you put within it. And B obviously is for bold. So that makes Dole bold. What other tag did we learn earlier that is similar to bold? Rob, do you remember?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
What tag did we learn earlier that is similar to the B tag that Dole is inside for bold?
Um, Similar to the B tag, the heading. Oh, strong.
Strong, yep. B is similar to strong. And emphasis is similar to italicize. So keep that in mind. Dylan, do you remember from the slides earlier what kind of href this is?
It's one where you like, oh, I don't know the term, but it's the one where you have like a title for, that leads to the link. Like it's not just clicking the link straight up.
There were two examples, right? Internal within the website itself.
Yeah, external.
This is an external one to a different source. And then lastly, here we have an unordered list and an ordered list. So if we add our other Josh into this list here, it adds it to the bottom, although in some instances, it may not. Because that is an unordered list. These 5 may show up differently on different web browsers. So Josh and Josh may show up back to back. Dylan may show up last. It all depends. Whereas with an ordered list, everything goes in a row. So join Zoom, listen to lectures, take notes as needed, watch recording afterwards. What should I add after this, Dylan?
You should add like the tag, like the /li.
Okay,
Yeah, and between that you put in something in the list.
so what should I put in the list? What can you do after
I get-
recording?
Start the homework.
Okay, start homework. And when we run it, it goes right after it. Say we wanted to add something before join Zoom. We would drop it in before. What might we want to put in before join Zoom?
See when the Zoom meeting, like check the time of the Zoom meeting.
Okay, so maybe check email. And when I run that, where would that go now?
That'll go above join Zoom.
Yep. So now that becomes 1, and the rest drop down 1. See?
Yep.
So again, the unordered list may show up in any order. Even if you put it in an ordered list, it's going to show up randomly. Whereas with the ordered list, it shows up exactly the order that you reference. So let's say after listen to lecture, we add participate. Where's that going to show up, Josh?
Under listen to lecture.
Yep. So now instead of 4 being take notes as needed, participate will be 4. See? Okay, so like I said, I'm kind of going to give you guys information that Dr. Mondale wants to teach in kind of the basic class, which is the PowerPoints. And then I'm going to add on to it with kind of real world examples. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to post this example code for you. Did I post the this link here for the HTML editor last week or no?
It's just the W3 schools site, right?
Yes. Did I post that or no?
Let me see.
If not, I will post it right now. So it's going to be in today's folder, just listed as HTML editor. Okay, so like I said, all we have to do between now and the next class is you guys go ahead and do that HTML assignment. At some point over the next week, I will get these recordings up and post them right within today's folder. And is there any questions? If not, next week we will also be remote. So I'll do the same thing again, send you guys 2 Zoom links. The first one will go through the PowerPoint presentation. And then the second half, we will do some hands-on HTML code, learn what it does, walk through it. Rob, any questions?
No, all good.
Dylan, any questions?
No.
Either Josh, any questions?
No.
Nope.
All right, does anybody know Eva or Dan that were in class last week?
No.
Kind of keep them posted.
I should have class with Eva on Friday because we share the same programming class, so I could talk to her then.
Okay, kind of keep them posted since they weren't here tonight.
Yep.
And all right, I will see you all next Tuesday, the 12th. Enjoy your week.
Have a good week.
Have a good one.
Take care.